Now let's hear from INEC. I'm joined by the INEC Coordinating National Commissioner for Anambra Governorship Election, Mr. Ken Okeago. Thank you for joining us on the program this evening. We're counting literally hours now to the election. How ready is INEC at this moment? Have all sensitive and non-sensitive materials been distributed to the local government areas as we speak? Mr. Okeago, I'm asking how ready INEC is less than 48 hours to the election. We're following closely reaction coming from civil society organizations. Yaga Africa, for instance, is saying that past Anambra elections opened late. Only 28% of polling units started accreditation by 9:30 a.m. in 2021. There are concerns about what INEC is doing differently this time to guarantee that polls open early in all the local government areas. We've heard some impressive numbers while we spoke with INEC last week. 5,718 beavers, 978 in reserve. And then the REC, who was on the show last week, mentioned that there was no single beavers failure since she assumed office in 2022. But we're also following closely what stakeholders are saying, what the experience of past voters have been, and also the review of INEC's preparation thus far. We're trying to connect with the INEC Coordinating National Commissioner for this election, Ken Okeago. Mr. Okeago, I'm asking how prepared INEC is less than 2 days to this election.
Yeah, we are. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Yeah, we are well prepared. We are ready for the election. We just carried out a bit of what I consider the last activity we need to carry out today. We are still at the CBN. We just finished distributing the sensitive materials comprising the ballot papers, the result sheets, and the beavers. They have all been moved to the local government offices, the 21 local government offices we have in Anambra State. Tomorrow they will be sorted and by RUAs, what we call ward, RUAs or wards, and moved to the racks. From there, we'll be ready on Saturday, the 8th of November, by 7 a.m. latest. That's our target. We'll be at the various polling units, set up the polling units, and wait for voters to come out by 8:30. So we are set.
The issue of logistics has always been a thing in previous election. Yaga Africa says the last Anambra election in 2021, only 28% of polling units started accreditation by 9:30 a.m. What are you doing differently this time to guarantee that elections will start early at all the local government areas?
Okay, like I said, our target is to we have racks, the camps where we camp our ad hoc staff overnight, and then move them to the various polling units in the morning on election day. Now we are going to activate the racks by 12 noon on Friday, tomorrow. All the racks will be activated, and all the ad hoc staff will be at the racks, and we'll carry out refresher training and sort out, cross the T's and dot the I's. The vehicles and the vehicle owners, the transport providers, will sleep at the racks. The security agencies, personnel will sleep at the racks. So first thing on Saturday by 6 a.m., we'll all set out to the various polling units. And our target is to have the units set out. We set up the unit latest by 7 a.m. on Saturday. That's our target. and we've given the marching orders to all our officers.
How are you? We're counting on that. Nigerians are quite optimistic, especially considering that it's an off-cycle election, and then INEC and all the other stakeholders really now have the luxury of manpower to make this happen. But how are you addressing areas affected by insecurity? We're hearing reports about parts of Ihiala and Ogbaru where civil society is raising concerns about consolidated polling units. What are your plans in this regard?
Well, we've been holding meetings. We've had several meetings with the security agencies, and I've assured us that they'll provide adequate security in all the local government areas. For Ihiala, we know the special case of Ihiala. If you were part of the by-election in August, last August, you will understand or remember that we moved some ROA in Ihiala, 6 of them, to the local government secretariat based on security advice. And we're going to do the same thing now. And during that by-election, they all voted, those who were available, all the voters that were available, we registered in those 6 ROAs voted, and there was no complaint anywhere. We intend to repeat them now in this election because of the security concern in those areas. For Ogbaru, will be everywhere in Ogbaru. Like I said, you mentioned that we'll have the benefit of more manpower. The same thing with the security. The security cell assured us that they're mobilizing 45,000 security personnel to cover the states during the election. And we are sure they will provide the necessary cover to ensure that the voters come out to exercise their franchise.
We have to go now because we'd like to also hear from the police. But I'm sure you also are concerned about reports of the possibility of voter turnout being less than 20% in this election. What's last minute measures is INEC and other stakeholders putting in place to ensure that more people come out for this election on Saturday?
Oh, well, we've made efforts on our part engaging voter education and mobilization, but and equally had several meetings with all the stakeholders, the political parties, and the civil society organizations. We are very confident that we'll have higher turnout this time around. Remember, in 2021, there were so many security challenges that discouraged a lot of persons from participating. But now everything seems to be calmer in the state, and we trust that people will come out to vote.
Good place to live it. Ken Ukuyagu is supervising INEC Commissioner for Anambra State. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we wish you all the best. We'll take a short break.
Thank you very much.
When we return, we'll be talking to the police commissioner in Anambra State. Stay with us, everyone. Staying with us, everyone. Now to the second pillar of every election security. The police have announced the deployment of about 45,000 officers across Anambra State, supported by sister agencies. We're joined now by the police commissioner for the selection, Abayomi Shogunle. Mr. Shogunle, thank you so much for talking to us on Beyond the Headlines. Let's start with readiness. Where are we now with deployment planning, and how many high-risk local government areas have you mapped out for enhanced presence ahead of Saturday? Police Commissioner, I'm asking where we are now in terms of deployment planning and the high-risk areas you are looking out ahead of Saturday.
All right. Thank you very much for having me, and good evening. Regarding the deployments, everything that's needed to be put in place has been put in place, and we have deployed to all the 21 local government areas in Anambra State, and we have just concluded the distribution of sensitive materials from the CBN to all the local government areas of Anambra State. Then talking about high-risk area, I think at the moment we have been able to flip that narrative of any high-risk area, because what made those areas to be high risk have been neutralized, and we are good to go as far as this governorship election in Anambra State is concerned.
You know that some parties recently raised concerns about the alleged use of state-linked security personnel. They mentioned that they saw their presence in the last by-election. What specific steps are you taking to ensure only federal security agencies participate this weekend?
This particular concern has been shared with all stakeholders in this election, and a press statement has been made to that effect that only federal agencies who are members of the Interagency Consultative Forum on Election Security are allowed. And just this afternoon, the DIG in charge of the election, DIG in Anambra State, DIG Ben Okolo, FDC, and myself had a meeting with the commander of the Agule Chambers. That's one of the security outfits, and it has been made clear to the outfits that we don't want to see them anywhere within the whole state for the period of this election, on Saturday as well as on Sunday while the coalition is going on. So we're optimistic that the issue of any security, any vigilante group or quasi-security outfit having any role to play in this election has been put to rest.
You're counting on their ability to comply with the instructions you have given, but can you give a clear public guarantee tonight that no state-controlled vigilante or security outfit will man this election? And if they do, what are you going to do as the police?
Okay, let me reiterate that for the purpose of the question, that again, only federal agencies that are part of the Interagency Consultative Forum on Election Security are allowed under the federal laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to conduct or to have roles to play when it comes to issue of election security. And in particular on this matter in Anambra State, we have given a clear directive to Agule Chambers, to the environmental brigades, all forms of quasi-security groups that are not part of the INEC, that they have no role to play. And if any of their members decide to try our will, then they will be arrested appropriately and prosecuted under the laws of the country. So I'm urging Indi Anambra to come out on Saturday to cast their vote. All registered voters who have gotten their PVC should come out freely to cast their votes. I'm giving the assurance on behalf of the Inspector General of Police that nobody will disrupt them from doing this come Saturday, 8th of November.
CP Shogunle, are there rapid response numbers voters or other stakeholders can call if there is intimidation or violence on Saturday?
Of course, there are numbers available to be called through which the members of the public can get in touch with the police. And as at this evening, we have started rolling those numbers out to members of the public. And this number contains numbers of designated officers as per local government areas. Apart from the regular police control room numbers that we have also given out numbers of heads of police units in each of those local governments, through which members of the public can also report any concerns.
You know, we've seen increasing sophistication in vote buying over the years. cashless inducements, food items, even digital transfers. What visible enforcement measures should voters expect to see on election day?
Well, regarding the issue of inducement or voter buying, adequate measures has been put in place with sister security agencies, the EFCC. We have EFCC operatives on ground, as well as the ICPC, and even police officers have even been informed that if they see any case of visible vote buying, of anybody distributing money to anyone anywhere around the polling unit, such persons should be apprehended and the money recovered for prosecution.
In previous elections, we've heard police withdraw its personnel from VIPs. What's the rule of engagement for this one?
The VIPs have been informed accordingly that they are not allowed to go about with their police or security details on the day of the election. The only thing permitted for them to do is to go to their designated polling units, cast their vote, go back to their homes and wait for the result. And also the police, as well as all security agencies, have also passed this message across to all their officers. On no account should they go about with their principal on the day of the election. And if this happens, we have given the notice to them that they will be apprehended. That is, the person who their principals will be apprehended, as well as immediate withdrawal of such security details from them.
Some of your men have been found culpable in previous elections. If there's any attempt to, by political actors, to pressure your officers or compromise their neutrality, how are they really trained to respond on election day?
We just concluded a training program for over 10,000 police officers yesterday here in Oka, which lasted for 3 days. And these are all the issues that were raised in the course of the training. And I'm optimistic that no amount of pressure will make any of our police officers deployed to do or to turn their face the other way.
We have to go now, CP. One final thought for voters who may still be afraid to come out on Saturday because of memories of past violence. What's your personal assurance to them tonight? CP Shogule, what assurance are you giving voters who may be afraid to come out to vote on Saturday? Well, we probably lost connection with Abayomi Shogule, who is Commissioner of Police in Anambra State. He's given some assurance that the police is ready. We understand that 45,000 security personnel have been deployed for this election, and he is assuring us that all will be well. We're counting down to big day, 8th of November, for the Anambra governorship election. INEC is saying it's ready, police is ready, but you know, as Anambra prepares to choose its next governor, the credibility of this election depends not only on these agencies of government, but on every citizen who votes peacefully and also take responsibility to report irregularities. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thank you for watching. Don't forget you can see it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow.